Hey, welcome back everybody to Electric Cafe. My name is Tim Humphrey. Today's episode is about Gerard Hanson, aka ERP, and aka Convection. He also goes under a couple other names. Today I wanted to show you a little bit about my collection, my experience with him. I got a chance to work with him and talk with him a couple times. Really nice guy. Talk about some of my favorite tracks and my history with them. And so yeah, ERP. We'll go. Guess we'll start there. Um, ERP stands for Event Related Potential. So he does electro under there and under that name. And I can probably honestly say if I was to do a top 25 list, that ERP would probably have 3 or 4 tracks in my top 10 alone for all time electro. I'm talking about going all the way back to like Planet Rock and um, all the way through Dynamix 2 and Drexcia and all the great electro and um, all the great electro in history. And ERP probably would have the most songs on any top 50. Probably any top 25. If I always did top 50, probably Drexcia would have the most because he has the most output, so there'd probably be some squeezing in there a little bit more than ERP. But as far as like, I'm talking about like, even if I did a top 5, he might have 3 in there. I mean, I can think of them off the top of my head, but I'm sure I'm missing one. If I did a top 10, that he wouldn't have 4 in the top 10. And same thing under Convection, like his stuff under Convection, I would probably have to say there'd be a couple really strong ones in my all-time top 25 of dub techno. So I mean, the guy is just amazing. Coming up on 30 years of recording. Luckily, I'd like to show you some of the records that I have. Some of them are some pretty, I wouldn't say rare records, but maybe the editions are. But I just have a lot of his music and I've just been a big fan. So I'd like to show it. And there's not really too much you can say about somebody like Gerard Hanson. He's a very quiet guy. He's not on social media. I never see him advertise. I rarely see him play live. I think I've seen him. I think he's played live maybe once in the last 15 years. He doesn't put out DJ mixes really. He started to put a lot more. There was a while there from like, when he put out 3 Convection records like in '95, they got a lot of press on the underground, and he started doing ERP around like '97, I think it was '96. And but besides those first couple records, there wasn't too much, and then there was a little bit of Convection in 2002, and then probably around like 2006 to 2010, you started to see some remix of his, and then around 2000 maybe 12 and 2014 till about now that he really started actually putting out some output because with the advent of social media and reissues and things like that, I'm sure people have been contacting him to reissue a lot of his great stuff, and then also to work on stuff. And that's one of the opportunities I got to do was asking him for a remix. And so he just doesn't do a lot of work. It's rare for him to show up and do a remix. I would say if you added up all his remixes, and he's been doing music for 30 years, probably like 1 remix a year. Under Convection, maybe a release every 5 years. ERP, a release every 2 years. Over the course of the last almost 30 years. So he doesn't have a lot of output, but the great thing is what he does put out is top notch. And so I mean, you just see it more so than any other underground ERP, any underground electro artist. I mean, his records just sell out right away within a couple days. And I'm not talking like 300 or 500 records, like actually a decent copy, maybe 3,000 to 5,000 records sell out super quick. So that's probably on his bigger reissues that are albums that he's done, like 2845 here. I'm not sure how many, but at least 1,000. on that one, but I think on a couple of new ones it might have been pushing 5,000 copies. But it's funny to say on the underground, and you're talking about like a couple thousand records. That's selling a lot, right? But we're on the really underground tip here. You know, we're still talking about records that are that go under the radar most of the time. You really have to dig for a lot of the music that I like to dig with, and I just a lot of the great artists are just lesser known. It's just because their music's more abstract and different, and maybe it doesn't hit you right away. Maybe it does hit you right away, but it's just deeper thought music. It's not necessarily even dance music. It's music for your mind, music for your emotion, and the ERP. When it comes to electro, man, this stuff, you can see why the artwork is very spacey. I mean, he takes you to outer space in his music. So, the first time I got a chance to hear one of his tracks was in 1998 under Convection. It was on this Juan Atkins, compilation or mix CD on Wax Trax and TVT Records. Of course, Wax Trax and TVT known for distributing Aphex Twin and Nine Inch Nails and Speedy J, and even Wax Trax, of course, known for Front 242 and Ministry and things like that. So this was a highly regarded mix CD, and it was part of a series. I'm not sure how many series. I know I have the Adam X one as well, but this one says Volume 1, Wax Trax Master Mix. I think there was I'm not sure how many. I'll have to look at that. It's interesting how many there's. Cool thing is it kind of looks like a record inside. I thought that was cool. A little jacket. This CD is beat up. This cover's beat up. Man, I played this one so many times. Actually, a CD is not bad. I take care of my music. That's one thing you'll know about me. I take care of my music, and I know where it's gone, and I can still remember the people that never returned a CD 30, 40 years ago. 30, 40 years later. So yeah, that was for, and this is the track AA, which this is Convection, self-titled track Convection AA. So I'm assuming that's even though it was a single, it was the AA version, which is the second side. Both it's like a double single. And so moving on to like 2002, for example, they put Crawling and Hungry, which had just came out. And I first heard it here on the Swayzak compilation. This is a great compilation if you don't know it. It's a 2-disc compilation. Also came out on 2 records, which I have that as well. But yeah, and the great thing about getting this is get it for the Bitstream. I mean, a lot of people know this, but for the Bitstream Monolith track by Bitstream is a very sought after electro record, and you can get it right here. Not have to spend $200 for the original. Talk about our electro track that needs to be reissued. Monolith. Geez, that thing would sell 5,000-10,000 copies, I would think. Amazing record, that one. But yeah, so Crawling and Hungry was on here. It was just released that year. Cool thing about that track, and it's also actually heard on this compilation, which was a DJ mix from Norway my friend had sent me. And on here it's just called Crawling. But yeah, Crawling and Hungry. It's an amazing track. I remember at the time, 2002, I had just got a new car, and I had some extra money, and I wanted to. It was an Audi 3.0 A4, with the Quattro, and it had the sport suspension on it. And I love that car. Drove cross country in that car when I moved. And then I love that car so much I ended up trading it in and get the S4, which I'm kind of disappointed I did, because it was A4 was almost paid off 2 years later, and I really didn't need a V8 and a larger payment, but it is what it is. Sometimes you want the faster one, but I didn't put so I went straight to I didn't put my stereo in the new version, is what I was going to say, in the new one. But I took it out. But for that 2 years I had it, I went straight to after I got it, I went straight to, I still don't even know how to drive stick. I learned to drive stick on that car. That's how much I wanted that car. this is in 2002, and I didn't know how to drive stick, and I learned on that car. But man, 6 speed back in 2002 was kind of rare, and that thing was great on the freeway. It wasn't necessarily super fast. It had like 220 horsepower, 220, you know, pounds of torque, but it was a smooth engine. I think it was 30 valves, 5 valves per cylinder, so it was smooth. And man, I just loved the way it looked. It really changed the industry on how look. If you compare on the 2002 Audi, which is the new body style with the flared back fenders, you compare that to the Audi A4 before, and then even the BMW before. That's why BMW widened the rear view, the last quarter panel, the last fourth of the car on the back end, and then even the Acura TL mimicked it. It went from the 3.2 to the newer Acura, mimicked the same style, that same quarter panel, because that thing was mean in the back, and you could fit like 19 inches on those, like super clean, with like 40 series tires, 35 series tires. And man, that Audi was so clean. I love that car. It was like a dolphin. It was dolphin gray was the color. And so I took it straight to the record store. To the speaker store. I wanted to get I wanted that car to boom. And JL just happened to come out. JL, if you guys know JL Audio, which is big for car stereos, they had just came out with the W7 speaker, probably within that year or so. I wasn't real. I used to be into car stereos when I first drove in like 1992, and I had Rockford Fosgates. My brother had Rockford Fosgate stuff, and I was super into like BBEs, like the equalizers and Alpine head units, and I was so into that stuff when I first started driving in it. But kind of got out of the car stereos, for a while there, and got more into the import scene and car racing and stuff like that through the 90s. But back when I got into an Audi and I went into that that stereo store, those JLs just came out, and they were bragging about how awesome they were, and they had JL 10s, and they had JL 12s, and they had JL 15s, and the JL 12 was 13.5 inches around, and it was 65 pounds, just the speaker itself. The magnet itself was 65 pounds. That's not even with the box. And so I ended up, because I probably, in retrospect, probably should have got 2 10s. So the bass would have been a little tighter. And because now experiencing how deep those speakers were, like the 10s probably would have been deep enough, but I ended up getting on the 12. And then the speakers were expensive too. I probably could have got 2 10s for the price of a 12, but they were just, they kind of guided me on buying, like, dude, with the 12, man, it's just so deep. You're gonna miss that, and I really wanted the deepness of the bass. That's what back in those days, we like to be, California. We like to roll with deep bass, and you can hear somebody coming from like a block away. That was so cool back when we used to first started driving, and lowrider trucks and car stereo competitions were the bomb when we first started driving in like 91, 92. Those car stereos and lowrider trucks and big speakers was like your ticket to what should I say? Your ticket to being a man or being included into the car scene. Like, if you had a cool stereo, man, you were cool. Even if you were a dork and you had a cool stereo, you were the man. Like, that's how it was back then. So I loved music so much, and I love cars so much. I was like, man, I gotta get a stereo. That was the first thing I got for my birthday when I turned 16. When I had my car, when I got some kicker subs and some Rockford Fosgate speakers. I had Polk Audio mids and highs, or actually just mids, and I just had 3-ways Polk Audio. I didn't even have separates at the time, and detachable face. That was after you pull out the stereo. It wasn't just the detachable face used to come on. That it just came out that year. So I was super into that. So I ended up settling on the 12 because the 12 inch was, if I remember correctly, it was still like 12 or 1300 bucks, just the speaker alone. And so and the 15 was just would have been like way too deep. That's kind of probably the 15 would have been more for like something with like a Blazer or some kind of Tahoe or some kind of truck that had a little bit more airspace. And even though my Audi, those trunks are huge, I ended up going on 12, and I'm glad I did because the 15 probably would have broke my windows. But I got one JL 500 amp for that one speaker, and that thing used to crush. And I lived in this apartment complex on Ventura Boulevard by myself, and you could pull into the car park, and it was right underneath my apartment. And but there was a lot of apartments along the car park. It's right under it, which is kind of dangerous if you think about it, because it reminded me of. But you just didn't think about it there, because when you grow up in California, you don't think about earthquakes. But that was very much like a lot of the complexes that fell on the cars. But back in those days, like you grow up in California, you don't really fear earthquakes like you think people would. Anyways, so I would always play this CD and play Crawling and Hungry. Long story short, right? That was the longest story for a short. I used to play this in my car all the time. But man, that bass would just roll and roll, and I would go up to my house and have to get something real quick. I put it on like halfway, and just as I'm walking upstairs, the bass line's getting deeper and deeper, and I just know there's going to be people, coming out of their apartment, just like, shut that shit up, But it was just like so awesome and so deep, and it was just, you just had to play it loud. And so then I get back in my car and feel all embarrassed, and then go down the street and then turn it back up, But man, that was one of the coolest tracks that I ever played on my car stereo, and that thing used to boom. Crawling Hungry, what an amazing track that was. And here's the record that I came on, which is called Venus and Spurs. Came out in 2002. There's only probably about, I can probably name on one hand how many times I spent like over $60 for a record. This was one, because I got it used. I didn't get it till later. I got it for like $70 or something like that. Tech-Tite Records it was on. Which, funny enough, I knew at the time, because I also I did collect the Sutek record on this one. But just an amazing song on there. Dub techno, probably an all-time dub techno track. Here's some of the Convection stuff. So Miranda and the remixes, right? Echo Space remixes. Of course, he's remixing his own. Deep Chords remixing. This is on the Matrix label, which his early Convection records were on, and also I believe the ERP record was on, which I don't have, and that's in my want list. Lunar Ruins, if you know not Lunar Ruins. Is it Lunar Rings? Lunar Ruins? Lunar Rings? Anyways, the some rings. Solar Rings? Oh, it's going to bother me now. Anyways, the ERP first track, no, first EP has a record on there. Something Rings. And it's my all-time favorite ERP song. I'd have to say it's really close with a couple of them. I'll talk about a couple of them when I get to them. But that Lunar Rings, is it Lunar Rings? I keep kidding, because there's also another Lunar Rings. They came out later. Oh no, it's Lunar Rings. So it is something Rings, because this one's Lunar Ruins. Solar Rings? It's gonna bug me. But I don't have that record. I really want that record. But I'm not spending over $70 for a record. That one needs to be reissued. And yeah, so this is a Miranda double record. And his remixes, like from 2006 to 2010, 2012, he was after the success of his early records, he was still on the underground. He's still on the underground a lot, but a lot of people wanted him to remix stuff, whether it be an electro or his dub stuff under Convection. And here's a perfect example of an amazing remix he did. One of my favorites remixes he did is where is it? The Convection remix of Starlight. Amazing. Yeah, just amazing. And then, I also have it on vinyl, right? Here's the deep chord. I'm sorry, this is, I thought I pulled the Starlight, but I'm glad I pulled this one too, but this one's his mix on Convection mix of Vantage Island. I have this on different colors. This is the black one. And these are, like, I know this kind of looks a little sloppy here in the back, but that's how they came, but, with the sticker, Microspace sticker on it, but, but that's how they came. Just some of the stickers. But if you saw the records in here, they're pristine records. Like, I just happened to pull it out, but it's not Convection or AP related, but, here's Deep Chords Grand Bend. Like some of these records I don't even play. And that's not because I'm a kind of a rainy day collector with some of the records. With some of the artists that I really like, and we're talking about the elite artists here, like ERP. Like, I'm doing my series right now on, artists that I kind of grew up with in the last like 30 or 40 years, and really have a lot of their music and maybe a lot to say about their music, what it means to me, etc. Got a lot to show, but some of like the cream of the crop stuff that's kind of rare and stuff, I don't necessarily play it that much. Because I go on YouTube and play it if I want to hear it. Some of them I have doubles to do that too, so I do play the original. But I've always been kind of like a rainy day. Like, eventually one day, when I'm like 55 or 60 years old, I'll want to pull out Grand Bend and debut the vinyl playing. And that's what I think about sometimes when I get these. Like, I'm that hardcore of a collector where it's not like I'm just playing it because I'm just buying it because it's going to be expensive and I want to resell it. It's not about that. It's about I have this and I haven't played it yet. And one day when I feel like it, let's say he never makes any good more music again. Let's say something. Say I never buy a record again. I don't have money or whatever it is, so they don't make vinyl anymore. Whatever it is, I can pull out a pristine copy of Grand Bend and play it for the first time. And I like to save music to be played later. I call it rainy day music. I can go online and listen to that. Why do I have to play the record sometimes? Unless I'm going to play it out, But a lot of the ERP and stuff, I don't necessarily play out. Really cool artwork on this one. This is his Exo Moon record, which has a lot of cool stuff on here. Ice Mine, Lost Colony, Moon Miner's Plight. There's not a bad song on here. I think this came out in 2020. Double record. I'm not one of those persons who, necessarily gets the colored vinyl. Like, this is the black version. I think there was a blue version. I'm not really, that hardcore on getting the colored version before. It kind of depends on the artwork. Like, I feel like I should have got the colored one for this because it would have been so clean with the artwork. But, I actually prefer black vinyl to play, to DJ with and stuff like that. But I do like, I think people give colored vinyl a hard time. Maybe it sounds not as good. It depends on the pressing, but also because I have some marbled records, like my Echospace records, that are fantastic to DJ with. They're substantial. I don't hear any really loss on audio compared to the black version. And there's some that I have black versions of, and I have marbled, and they sound the same. You know, I will say, colored vinyl can give you a little bit more clicks and stuff like that if you don't take care of them. So I would be very careful in pulling off the record. Maybe let it out. If there's a minute left, just let it play. If you're mixing, just let it play out and then pull off. But so you do got to be very careful of clicks. But as far as the quality of the music, I think it's very, very minor difference. Very minor difference, if any. And again, it all depends on the pressing. I've heard some where you can tell the difference. I've heard some where you can't. Amazing record. Amazing record. We're kind of jumping back and forth through ERP and Convection. Here's another ERP after image. After image. This is one of his other full-length records, a double record. I don't think I got the colored version on this one either. I don't know if it came with one, but yeah, it's black. Really cool record as well. Man, it's just such cool, clean artwork. He's an amazing producer. Here's one of his reissues. I'm trying to remember what's actually on these ones. I actually got two versions. These are both blue. I'm trying to remember what's on these. I can't remember what they reissued on here. Sometimes when the reissues that came out recently, both these are unplayed. They're just reissues of other stuff I already have. So I haven't really necessarily played them yet. But from what I hear, they did a really good job with some of these reissues. Here's the original. Here's a Pith. ERP Pith. This is sort of on a clear. I do like this clear more. It's like a clear marbled. Pith is a really strong song. LUCTU and then TUGA are the other two tracks on here. I think this came out in like 2016, I think, 2014, somewhere in that. Pith is a really strong one too. I mean, if you put it on single, you know it's a strong song, especially the title song. So I think it was 2014. This is when he really started to put out more stuff. He put out I think this was on Semantica. Was it Semantica? Semantica Records, which is a really strong electro and techno label. He put out these Evoked Potential records. There was three records of these. I don't think these are necessarily in order, but Evoked Potential 2 out of 3 was a 10-inch. I want to say, yeah, this one's clear. Evoked Potential. These are original pressing. I think these got repressed. Mine are all original. And then also, which is really cool, I think it was on part. I thought it was a different part, but maybe it's part 2. This came with it too. This little ERP thing you would stick and put on like a barcode. But it's cool. It has I really like this insert. This really inspired me to do better inserts for my label. I like how it has the WAV files on here, and it talks a little bit about the tracks in here, which is super cool. So again, this goes with the part 2, and the tracks are Gallop String, which is super cool. Loaderstone, if you know that one's a powerful track, and then it has Loaderstone, the original one, as well. Loaderstone. Hard not to put that in the top 5 ERP tracks. I'm trying to remember which one this is. because it doesn't say on it. This might be part 1. Doesn't say anything on it. Same oranges on the 10-inch though. And then here's part 3. They changed it up on this one. I need to get some sleeves for this. This is part 3 here. And it has Repose and Sensory Process, which is a Plant 43 remix. Shout out to Plant 43. Another strong electro producer. So there's Semantica. They do a great job on their records. Strong pressing. One of the best probably record labels in the past 15 years for techno. Just an awesome label. Anything on there is true futuristic techno. You know, they don't play any games when it comes to like business techno or you know, if they like it, it's on there, and it's not necessarily tied to like older techno. Like it's kind of futuristic techno. Great label. Here's Evoked Potentials #1. Yeah, so I may have, now I'm thinking about it, I might have. Yeah, because this one's Sensory Process, Loader Stone, and this one says 2017. So this might be the, because this has the orange on it. So one of those might be a reissue, because this one's part 1 as well, and this one has the ERP on there, kind of indented, and this one has the orange. So clean. Look how clean that record is. Man, spotless. Beautiful record right there. Loader Stone, such a cool track, man. That's probably why I got the reissue, because I love Loader Stone so much. I'm thinking that's the reissue because it's not orange. Anyway, that's the Evoked Potential series. Here's one of the last ERPs before he got into doing some reissues and albums. This one came out in 2016, so this one's Ancient Light, so Hubble Telescope Series Volume 2. Ancient Light, Cleaning Creation, Eagle Nebula, Ancient Light, Exaltix Remix. So Exaltix Remix, another solid electro producer. Today I felt like doing some electro videos, so I'm doing ERP now and Convection, so I'm probably going to do a couple other today, including a Drexia one. Awesome stuff. Awesome artwork. Awesome artwork. Very cool, very cool. Solar One Music, which I think is, that might be Exaltix label, if I'm not mistaken. Moving on. Here's a double pack of one of their reissues. So this one made a lot of people happy because the tracks on here that they reissued were super expensive and super hard to get, on original copy in good condition. So as a double pack, so first you had Alzoran, which is probably my top 5 as well. Lament Sabrosa, which is super strong. Irma, super strong. And then probably another one that's in my top 5 ERP tracks, Vox Automation. If you look on Discogs, I did a comment back on that in 2007. I've done some comments back on Gerard Hanson stuff, and I feel bad because it's funny on my old account I accidentally called him Gerald before I kind of like got actually like meet, talk to him online. For some reason, like I would always think of Gerald, and that's because of Gerald Donald from Drexia and stuff. So, so I always make that mistake for some reason with him. And then on the other one, yeah. So Vox Automation, amazing track. So if I was to do a top 5 tracks, and this is without going in deep because I know I'm forgetting, the lunar rings or whatever it is, solar rings. Oh, it's ice rings. Man, I pride myself on my memory sometimes, so I like when I remember stuff without looking up. Ice rings, Vox Automation, Alzorian, Loaderstone. This is on the ERP, it's on the electro side. A 5th one, probably something from the Evoked Potentials. But I'll probably think, I feel like I'm missing one right now. But amazing double record. I mean, it's strange they didn't really respect it with 2 different artwork. Just kind of put it out. Frustrated Fun, another strong label. When I think of like great labels that are still going, that did a great job in the low points of selling vinyl, which was like 2005 to 2012. Before the reissues started happening, people started getting there were some labels that went through that period and hats off to them. Frustrated Funk was one. Another one was Semenica. I'm blanking on the name. There's a few that I wanted to mention as I said that, and I can't think of their names now. But Fortuna was one. Sorry, Fortuna, which had all the early Echo Space stuff, but yeah, Frustrated Funk was one of them. They did a great job through those years, doing all kinds of like electro and techno and stuff, and all kinds of good music, and even some reissues, like this one, Frustrated Funk, great one. This is the Gerard Hanson under a different name, Timelight Curve. If you guys, some of the hardcore electro people will know this label, which is God, I'm blanking on the name. AC Records. That's right, AC Records. This series is really strong. I don't think there's too many records in the series. On this label over the past 15 years. This one came out in, I want to say like 2012 or something like that. But yeah, Time Like Curve. He did a couple tracks on here on the A side. Really strong tracks on those. Get to that one in a second. Here's Lunar Ruins. Another label that did really well through the difficult times. Harbor City Sorrow. This was their pressing of Lunar Ruins. Yeah, I can't remember what's on the other side. But yeah, Harbor City Sorrow. And some of these aren't in the right sleeve. This is obviously a clone record sleeve. This is here's an original copy of Alzoran. I need to put it in a sleeve. I think this is the first. I think Alzoran got reissued twice. So on that double pack, and then on this, I believe this is a reissue. Alzoran. Need to get the sleeve. Strange, I don't have a sleeve on that one. It's actually even in the ERP outer sleeve. Moving on. Convection. Acido. This is one I still haven't listened to. Acido 22. I think this came out in 2020. I think it is. But Acido Records, number 22. Still haven't listened to this one. So again, I gotta keep ERP. I love so much. I gotta keep a few of his tracks around the time that I haven't heard yet for special occasions. Here's a strong remix he did from the track from the artist Rising Sun, who did some really strong stuff. He did a ambient sort of remix on here. It's a Convection remix. Yeah. Rising Sun on Christofferson Records. Never heard of that one. Never heard of that one, except for I'll be on this one. Moving on. It's 2006 Convextion Records, the original copy. This did just get reissued like 2 years ago. I think they have different artwork on it, which is a bummer because this artwork's banging. It's got some. This one's. There's another one that I was talking about. Another label that was really strong through the early period of reissues in Rush Hour. Rush Hour was amazing. Rush Hour and a Clone and yeah, I got some Rush Hour reissues up there. Some of the bigger records, CDs, like DVDs. Rush Hour did a great job of doing releasing a lot of great stuff in the lower times of record sales and still supporting the scene, and also really strong reissues. So this is a joint project. Obviously, Convection at the time was on Down Low Music, which I don't have the Down Low record, Convection, which is a really cool record as well. But great record. Trying to remember my favorite song on here. Not the best with song titles. In fact, I'm not even gonna look it up. But there's one track on here. Oh man, it's probably my top 5 Convection tracks. So moving on to 2845. So this is also Convection. I got 2 pressings. One I wanted to play and one I wanted to keep sealed for a rainy day. Here's the original thank you purchasing sticker, which is strange I didn't get it on that one. I don't know why. This one says number 123 on it. Which is strange because I don't think I have colored copies. But yet this one's still numbered. Anyway, it says, we hope you enjoy this album as much as we do. For more listening information away from your beloved turntable, we include a free download version for you. Oh, maybe I doubt that's, that can't be the passcode. Might be inside, I guess. To receive your download code, please send a mail mentioning the hand stamp number on the back to this. I guess I should do that and see if they should still get it. I think this came out in like 2018. See if I can still get the number on these. This one doesn't. This one, I guess that one doesn't come with a digital download code. Then it says, don't hesitate to check your full catalog. Oh, is that Majuba? No, Artless was the one I was trying to remember. Artless is another label that was really strong in that period of 2005 to 2010. And Majuba too. Such great labels. Majuba Records, man. I should do a video on their records. But yeah, really strong record. I think my favorite on here is Tidal Friction and Distant Transmission. Not a bad song on here. Not a bad song on here at all. Really cool artwork. So much I had to get 2 of them. I don't think this one's colored either. Oh, this one does have the. See, this one I haven't even opened because I obviously have the second version, but looks like it has one of those I love sticker in there. I guess I'll keep it in there. I have a few of these pieces of furniture. Look like this one does have it as well. Wow, it's like pulling out a new vinyl. It's like Oh, 0122. So I got numbers right in a row. Must bought. Obviously, I bought them from the same person, but wow, I haven't even pulled those records out of sleeve on that one. I should mark this one so I know which one's the new the mint copy versus the other copy. Moving on, Convection CMVX1. This is probably the last one that I've got. I haven't. Well, there might be a couple other ones that might be a little bit after this, because this does say 2018. But there's I haven't got his last ERP record, and then I think there's 2 singles that I haven't got from ERP. So I'm missing a couple of records by him. The last couple. I think the ERP one just came out last month. Really kind of cool artwork. Again, this one's unplayed. I haven't. This one's also on Artless as well, and Majuba. Is it Majuba? Majuba Records. I haven't listened to this one yet. Another Rainy Day one. Here's an older one. The Hard 4 remixes. Hard 4 and some of the ERP remixes. This is a very desirable and very beloved remix he did for ERP. Fourth Dimension and Fifth Ward featuring ERP, and You Know the Score featuring ERP. Bangers, electro bangers right here. These are such bangers. Hard 4. How cool is that? Great records. Here's kind of a one he was on. Bleep 43 Records, for those that know it. ERP El Camino's on there. Really strong track. Definitely would be my top 10 ERP tracks. El Camino. Super strong. He also did back on Semenica. I think this one's Cold Colony, which sounds like he. Well, there was another Colony track on that one. I wonder if that ended up. I should check that out. No, it's Lost Colony. Lost Colony. So this one's Cold Colony. Can't remember this one offhand. Can't remember this track offhand. Moving on. This one's kind of a cool one. I got this from my friend Martin van der Luten, out of Netherlands. I should ask him more about this story. This is a 2-part one. I don't know too much about it. Although this is the NSYNC Storm, which is a very famous techno track called Storm from NSYNC, and it's INSYNC, not NSYNC. This has the CV313 Echo Space remix on here. Stephen Hitchell. But it also has the ERP remix, and I can't remember which it is, because I got the promo version for both parts. This one is the regular version of one of the parts. I got the regular part because it has, I keep them together because I know there's more for the ERP remix than the CV3 one. But one of these is the test pressing, and the other one's the test pressing of the part 2. Again, haven't played this record. Just know it from online when I bought it back in, I think this came out in 2014 or 16, somewhere around that time. I just remember hearing it once when I bought it. I mean, everything ERP, I'm gonna buy blind anyways. Last bit of my coffee before it gets cold. So I'm going to buy them anyways. But you can see I got like 3 or 4 records rainy day that I can play and be super happy with. So this is the chance that I got to. I was working with John Beltram at the time, and he had 2 tracks. One was called Antero, and one was called Phoenix. And so he showed me the tracks, and he was like, who can we get to remix these? And I was like, oh man, we need somebody good. And I was like, I wonder if I can get ERP to mix it. And I chatted with him a couple times. Of course, what turned out to make it all happen was Gerard Hanson was a fan of John Beltram's music. So I got a chance to talk with him on the phone for about an hour. We exchanged a lot of messages over the course of the next few months, and I got a chance to work with Emotions Electric, which is a really strong label, and Detroit Dancer. So both of these labels, they're from the Subwax. If you guys know Subwax Records, it used to be Subwax Record Store and Subwax Distribution. The former, I believe his name is Jimmy. Wish I had his name in front of me, but I believe it's Jimmy Disco, Disko. He started these 2 labels, and so obviously we positioned. I showed him the 2 original records, and I was like, "Oh, I'm trying to get ERP to remix it," and he was like, "Oh, if you can do that, that'll be awesome." And so, thankfully, Jimmy was up to pay ERP and Gerard Hanson in advance to do the remixes, and man, did he deliver! So for the Antero, he did the ERP remix and a Convection remix, while the original version on the other side. And then on the Indio, he just did the one electro remix, and then we got Strike, aka Greg Chin, to do the other remix on here. But specifically this ERP remix, I feel really proud I was the first one to hear it, other than Gerard Hanson. And it was so special because I was literally like almost in tears because I was such a big ERP fan and a big John Beltram fan for so long. To be the first one to hear this remix, and if you know this track, you know how good this remix is. And man, I was just blown away in tears. And I remember calling John Beltram, and I was like, he's like, "What's up?" And I was like, "Dude, I just got the remix back from ERP. It's better than I could have ever hoped for." And I played it for John, and John got back to me. He was like, "You're right. That's an amazing remix." And so for next year and a half, I had to keep it secret while it was on my phone, and I couldn't show anybody, and I was just like, "Oh God, I can't wait till this remix came out." And then thankfully he sent me a couple copies, which was nice of them. But yeah, that's talk about a bucket list thing, to work with John Beltram and ERP on a record, and just work out all the logistics for them, so they just had to focus on the music and putting it out. It was really cool, and definitely a highlight of my life to be the first one to hear an ERP remix before everybody else. That was a special moment. So yeah, that's my history with Convection ERP. Like if you guys like dub techno or you guys are interested in it, check out Convection. And if you like electro, check out ERP. The guy is so talented. Curious to know what's your top 5. If you guys know ERP, I know you guys are a huge fan. And I know if you guys know Convection, you're a huge fan of Convection. So we'll go deep here on the top list. What's your top 5 Convection tracks? What's your top 5 ERP tracks? Thanks for watching Electric Cafe. Have a good rest of your day.